Alright guys, I think we are live and welcome to another stream. I wasn't planning on streaming today or anytime soon, but considering that we have one more of the GM training rapid matches, um, we can afford a stream too. So the format will be the same, 15 plus 10 for games. For games, I'm black in the first game, and I need to think about what am I going to play. Um, okay, let's play 1d6. Why not? Considering that I haven't been playing this in the training rapid matches. Ship d3. Mm, okay, e5. Let's play knight bd7 here. And now after knight f3, there are several tempting options. There is d5, for example. There is also g6, bishop g7 castles, then later followed by b6, bishop b7, and so on. We will see how it goes. Mm. So yeah, my opponent's taking some time here. Maybe he's not that familiar with the knight bd7 system, or he's just choosing lines. f4. Interesting. Um, how do you deal with f4? So one option is, of course, to take this, but then it looks like some kind of a king's gambit gone wrong because of how the pawn structure is. Opponent wants to play knight f3. This could be some kind of preparation. Knight f3, then I'd probably be forced to take so something like c6, then knight f3 could happen. I'm always bad with these arrows. ed4, ct4, maybe d5 I can break through, then e5, knight e4, and this knight d7 looks quite misplaced. I can't really develop the bishop. So yeah, I can play a move like c5 maybe. Looks kind of logical. There fe5, d5, d5. Well, there are also some c4 ideas with knight e4. So I don't know. Feel like I need to challenge the center. If I play just bishop b7, then knight f3 will come. Nothing else. It will be a worse version. Yeah, this f4 feels like a good move. Mm, I will play. I will play my c5. Don't know much about the 1d6 lines, but at least you get a playable position. Out of the opening, no theory. How bad can it be? I don't know, an option could also be to take, then try for some f5, but then I guess c4 again with knight c5 should be quite good because of this pawn. This is some kind of an overextension with playing d4, e4, f4 that quickly. If I like, he can play it just knight f3 probably. Most logical move, in my opinion. And then I have to think because okay, there are several options there. For example, take in d5 could be an option because of this. So knight f3, cd, d5. Then you'd be able to take here with both pawns, and then I would take knight e4. I don't know how good it is. My opponent chooses this one. So I'm, I guess, happier to see than the other one, even though I'm not sure. Knight f3. Okay, let's think. When you play 1d6, you have to think. That's the problem. When you memorize 20 moves of neither preparation, then you don't have to think. What do I do now? Obviously, FE is the idea. Probably. I mean, 90 can't be the idea because at least there is 95 and 94, followed by Queen H4 check. Like, if it was his move, what I'm saying is takes, 94, bishop before, there would be Queen H4 collecting the bishop. Hmm. Oh, hello, Shellingford. Welcome to this stream. Very early Title Tuesday. No, there will be no Title Tuesdays. Only instructive, rapid. Title Tuesdays, you stream it yourself. I'm done with I'm done with those things. But yeah, fe5 could be a problem because after knight g4 there is e6, and then yeah, can't say I'm that happy. As I have to take with the f pawn. In c4 could technically be a thing, but I don't know, bishop c2 I guess, or bishop c4, maybe even bishop c4 now because after knight e4 there are some problems with queen d5 or bishop f7. So I don't believe in c4. And play queen c7 or bishop d6, like just one of the normal logical moves to protect the pawn. Yeah, bishop d6. I don't know if bishop c4 is a problem. c7. And I can start with queen c7, then this is not under attack after bishop c4. Maybe I can take bishop queen c7. Yeah, okay, okay, maybe there is some knight a3. That could be a problem. a3, but then I can go a6, knight c4. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully my opponent is still not in the prep today. Okay, queen c7. How bad can it be? Like if takes, bishop b5 check, I will go bishop d7 and this knight protects, so we'll see. Shelling, today you're the only one in the chat. Everyone else is not interested when I'm not playing Title Tuesday and raging. Now c4 could be one of the ideas for sure, because then there is no more bishop c4, and if he has to go bishop c2, then I get the c5 square for my bishop, and I can develop, like after castles, for example, then I can go c4, bishop c2, bishop c5 check, maybe even knight g4 immediately. Let's immediately get nice developing moves. Tim is also here, apparently lurking. I don't know if Tim is here. It could be. Is it the anonymous GM again? My opponent is a GM and the anonymous one, but is it the same one I've played before? Judge for yourself. I won't disclose the names. Don't have the permission for that. Yeah. I mean, c4 is the idea now, so like knight a3 could be a decent move to stop that at least. And then I don't really believe in e takes f4. I mean, it could also work like, But e5 could be problematic. I think it's move 7 and already the board is on fire. Some knight like knight a3, e takes f4, some e5. If I take knight e5, then there is queen e2, and I can't go bishop d6 because of knight b5. And if I go knight g4, well then at least bishop f4 could be a problem. So, and if knight a3, e takes f4, e5, I go some knight d5. I mean, that's technically possible. Something smells fishy about it, but don't see it right off. Also, e4, knight b5 first needs to be considered, then I probably need to go to b8. If I go anywhere else, then bishop f4 will come with knight c7 being a threat. Okay, my opponent doesn't go for knight a3, so knight a3 I would probably just go a6, even though I'm not sure. But yeah, f5. I mean, taking is obviously the most natural approach, and then he can't go bishop f4. You can go bishop b5 technically, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Other than that, knight g4. I mean, knight g4 is a move, but does it really gain something? I mean, technically the advantage of knight g4 could be that after castles I can go c4 and bishop c5. Knight g4, maybe he can play e6. And then I would need to play fe, which pretty sure I don't want to. Maybe it's not so clean though. Because after fe, the knight is already on g4, and bishop c4 is the idea. Bishop d6 could come quite quickly. There is a point in knight g4 too. But of course, obviously, recapturing is probably the most sensible move. Knight g4, some bishop f4. Then I take with a knight. Now knight g4, bishop f4. If I take knight g, e5, I can take knight e5, knight e5, then give bishop b5 check. That's a problem because I'm pinned. Okay, then I think I have to go for this one. Now after bishop b5, bishop d7, well, everything is protected as far as I can see. So this was the point of my opponent apparently. Just wants to go bishop f4. However, I can't say that I'm that unhappy with the position. Like, I have c4 here. Bishop f4, there is queen c5 and I recapture. Bishop takes c4, there is again. No, there is not again this. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, so c4 takes queen c5, there is queen d4. Okay, I got the idea now. If I don't go c4, if I play some bishop d7 or I don't know which move, bishop f4. If I don't play c4, bishop d7, bishop f4. Have to put the queen on h5 probably, which probably I don't want. I can play bishop g4, bishop d7, I suppose. No, yeah, okay. Bishop g4, bishop d7 I suppose is not good. Bishop g4, there's bishop b5. Bishop d7, even rook f6 exists there. I don't know if it's good because I can take on b5. But okay, even bishop d7, knight d7, bishop f4 doesn't look that great. Pozdrav Soman 111. Pozdrav. Anyway, I played bishop d6, bishop f4, and queen sacrifices. No matter how much I like sacrificing pieces, doesn't look good. So probably c4 is the only move, no matter the consequences. It's important to notice that this runs into that c4, queen a4 check runs into b5 and the queen covers this and he loses a piece. So, I mean, the retreating moves with the bishop should be quite good. They just developed with bishop c5, knight g4. It looks really, really good. So I think only this move is a problem. But if I don't do it, it's probably even worse. So let's play c4 and see what happens. Bishop c4, of course, queen c5, there is queen d4. And I can't really take queen d4 and knight e4 because f7 is hanging. But I don't have to go queen c5. I can, for example, play bishop c5 check. And then he has to go king h1, no other reasonable move. And then there are moves already. For example, even knight g4. But knight g4, there is still bishop f4. So maybe not knight g4. Maybe I should just castle and play just very normally. And then if he goes bishop f4, then I can take the pawn, regain the pawn, and I don't know, my king is safer there. Doesn't look that bad. No matter that they don't have queen c5. Yeah, I did look at that. So the point that you're making is here, queen h5. But the problem is that, okay, even though we're still maybe threatening knight f2, we're not threatening checkmate. And it feels like we've given quite a lot of play. Also, another line to consider is bishop c5 check. I will give surely. And now we need to see, because knight g4, oh, of course I need to consider this, then king e7, bishop f4, so then I don't even have queen h5, so it could also be a problem. Yeah, and now I think castles makes by far the most sense. I'm threatening to take on e4. Let's see the other moves real quickly. Bishop g4, I mean, queen a4 check or something. It doesn't feel like the right square, even though one should never say it feels wrong or it feels right. Should always understand why, if possible. But yeah, castles, bishop f4, queen e4, bishop d3 could be a problem. And then, I don't know, some queen d5, or where am I supposed to go? And after bishop g5, no, yeah, queen d5 actually stops bishop g5. I mean, I think I should do this no matter what. He can defend the pawn with knight d2, but then he lacks a bit of development and his king is relatively open. I mean, what else to consider? This to stop bishop g4. Looks like too much. Bishop b6 maybe, but I don't want my opponent to have options of giving those checks. So let's castle and see what happens. By the way, I was clearly better on Sunday, but my poor calculation threw away my advantage in one move. I could kick myself. Yeah, I mean, those 2600 GMs, even if you play against them, they're not invincibles or anything close to that. Just calculation is the key of chess, basically. Even if you play an amazing strategical game, just one tactical mistake and like one wrong move and everything is gone very often. In classical over the board chess. So yeah. And hello Schachverband, or hello Schachverband shogi player here. If there are shogi players, I'm not one of them. Shogi pieces are insanely handicapped. I have no clue how it is played. But I mean, maybe I should know, but I don't. Hello, hello to Squirrel. Squirrel played Shogi like 3 years ago, if that counts. Surely it counts. You guys can surely arrange a Shogi match or two. I do commentary on stream, but I have no idea how the game works, and that's a problem. Okay, I think that I have to take. If I don't take, then he'll play e5, and I also don't have any other reasonable square. And I think knight d2 or bishop d3 are the sensible moves. So he just wants to finish the development first, goes knight d2, defending the bishop on c4 and attacking my queen. What are the most logical squares? g6 to reinforce the defense, also c6. C6 is a bit further away from the event horizon, to put it that way, because the play is probably going to happen on the king side, considering the kings are open, the f-file here, and the queen here is a bit far away from everything. So preferably I'd put it on g6. However, knight f3. Yeah, and then there are knight g4 ideas and stuff. Can also put the knight on b3, but I don't know, you just go here. He can't go knight d4. Maybe that's best, actually. Can't really stop it even with queen c6. So. And I will put the queen here. Actually, wait. Could be a problem. Bishop here, bishop d3. Hmm. G6, knight b3, bishop b6, bishop d3, and then I would have to go to h5 or g4. And that would be a problem because he would take and go bishop d6. And it's like Bughouse, you can place pieces you capture. You probably don't have your password anywhere. You've never beaten a 26 plus so far, so for me they're invincible. No, they're not. Just crush it. Yeah, just crush them. They're nothing special. Unless your browser said it. Okay, okay. You can surely arrange the match in Shogi if you like. Yeah, Queen c6 at least fights against knight b3. I have some weird moves, maybe even this to take. It looks strange. This, yeah. Can't say I'm happy with this position after bishop d3. Queen g4 too. c6 it feels intuitively wrong, but I don't trust my intuition, trust my calculation. There could be some bishop g5 ideas as well. Okay, before I lose on time, I have to make a move. So let's make a move. My position feels somewhat worse, but not by much. Strategically, because he has the more active pieces. The opened f-file, and my f7 pawn is a bit under pressure, and he has a bit better development. But I don't know how bad it is, objectively. Okay, when you play d6 and move 1, it's also not the best of signs. Of course, after knight b3, I don't know why, but I failed to even consider bishop g4 a very important intermediate move. There are also funny ideas like this, also bishop h3, and if takes, there is queen e4 and queen c4. Of course, that's very sketchy, and I would never play it, but this is very insightful, but it would be more instructive if you talked about the concepts and principles used while considering candidate moves. Yeah, I should try it, but that would take some more time, and yeah, I need to be I mean, I can try it. I can try. So basically, queen g6. The queen feels safe here, better placed here because it's closer to protecting f7 and the king. And on c6, it's far away. That I already said. But it's more about concrete calculation than about the general principles. And of course, knight b3, bishop g4. The idea is to finish the development quickly, gain a tempo, and also to make bishop d3 less less efficient because then I will be able to play queen h5 without having to trade the queens. Just a suggestion, it's still really awesome. Yeah, I appreciate the positive feedback. This is the only thing worth streaming. When I'm playing competitive blitz events, that's hardly worth streaming. You don't learn anything, but this is usually good. I mean, I will try to do better. But, coaching is surely also an option. Okay, so what my opponent can play now, they can play some other moves like knight f3, for example, just trying to bring the knight closer, maybe trying to attack knight e5 and enforce, but I think I can play maybe knight g4 at that point. It's not the only move, there's also bishop g4 to pin, that feels safer, but knight g4 feels more ambitious. Stop knight e5 and threatens knight f2. On general principles, you should develop the bishop, bring the final piece into the game. I'd actually prefer it on the long diagonal to pose problems, but it's highly unlikely I can bring it there. Hmm. My opponent's also taking some time here, considering the position is hard to play. It's a very unstandard position, and we're also both struggling to understand what goes where exactly. I just spotted also a very nice idea. There are ideas with when I go knight h5, and for example, if he moves the bishop somewhere, okay, he doesn't have a good square to move it to show, but if he could be able to go to c1, for example, then there would be knight g3, hg, and queen h6 would be checkmate because the g1 square is cut off. You're 1700 over the board trying to improve, and any thought process you can absorb is pure gold, especially coming from the Bundesliga at GM. You're 1800 over the board. Yeah. Um, that's surely that's surely a good place to start. And there are not many instructive streams. Usually streams are more for fun. I'm trying to make them a bit more instructive. Cause yeah. So now there are these candidate moves. Knight g4, knight e4, bishop g4, probably some other moves. Maybe even queen e4. Queen e4 allows knight e5. I don't really believe it's desirable, so that candidate will eliminate quickly. Bishop g4. Bishop f5 runs into knight h4. Knight h5, the one I mentioned, now there is a problem with knight e5. I mean, some bishop h3 exists, but I don't believe in it at all. So yeah, either knight g4 or bishop g4 are the moves which make sense. You need to consider h3, because knight f2, rook f2, bishop f2, knight 5. But I can go queen somewhere and he lost the rook, so. But what is he going to play after knight g4 if not that? Can play knight e5. Then I would probably have to take knight e5, bishop e5. Then I can go bishop e6. It feels okay. Maybe slightly better for white still. Let's see the other candidate. Bishop g4. There is knight e5. Bishop d1, knight g6, and he would get the bishop pair after bishop d1. Yeah, and also if I do something else. Okay, let's go knight g4. By process of elimination, this feels best. But I don't know. Hello to Australia. Yeah, a long time no see. And it will be a long time after today. Also because after today, in the upcoming 30 days I will play 4 tournaments, and yeah, I will have no time for anything else. Hopefully, I can try to at least get back to 2600 or something. Would be nice. Yes, that's exactly why Danny is so successful. Yeah, of course, of course. But he has skills, which most of us don't. Yeah, sure, I will do my best in the tournaments. I mean, you will surely be able to watch my games. Technically, I could also do what a lot of people are doing now, daily recaps of tournament games, but it's highly unlikely that would be that people would love like that. I don't know though. Maybe they would. Anyway, it takes daily work. Okay, now even though I'm neglecting the development, I really didn't like the end game which would arise after this. Then the rook is hanging, so I would have to take. He takes here. And well, I mean he has the two bishops. These three against two, the rook on the open file has to be quite better for white. So knight g4 felt like my process of elimination, the only move not to be worse. Let's see how my opponent deals with it. Maybe I'm still worse after 95 or something. Though there might be queen e4, which I haven't seen before. There's then bishop d3. So I guess not, because the point was after knight g4 I can take this one. There's also bishop d5, so yeah, knight d5 I probably have to take. Queen h5, there is a actual queen h5 maybe. Makes sense. Knight f2 is still a threat. If knight g4, then I can take bishop g4. In that case, still, even this doesn't look that bad if I take and go bishop e6. And then bishop d3 exists. Then I have to put the queen on h6, then bishop f4. I don't really like it. Hello, Eric Blair too. You'll be a fan of the game recaps. Yeah, if I do that, maybe I should consider doing it also to spend some time on daily recaps of games. Hello, Double G Jared. F7 would always be tender. Yeah, and G6 that would not be ideal, I think. And also this, my opponent's playing quite well. It's takes, bishop e6, there is a problem with bishop d3. So maybe I should take and play bishop f5 because of that. Or take and play bishop g4. The queen moves are not great. There's even bishop e2, which I didn't see at first, and then knight f2 he just takes. So okay, I have to take, obviously. And now bishop g4 or bishop f5, not bishop e6, which I originally planned because of this. And I don't have a good square for the queen, I think. So which one? I mean, bishop h3 again looks interesting. Wait, what's with this move? I didn't see it before. Bishop f7, I don't think it works. Rook f7 also, but there is at least queen d5. I mean, I really should finish my development. Okay, let's go here to f5. The point is that I want to put the bishop on e4. And I mean, I want it here on the long diagonal to pose problems. And also, of course, stopping this is important. And had I gone to g4, then after queen b3, I mean, I don't know. Or queen d5. I don't know. This feels better because now I can go bishop b4 after queen b3. Not only I can go bishop e4, but I'm immediately winning because no, I'm not immediately winning. There's bishop g3 still, but doesn't matter. Everything is protected. Sure, Eric. Nice to meet you. Okay, I will have to speed up. These are 15 plus 10 games, so I will not lose on time. Can he go bishop d5? Yeah, but then I would go rook d8 and pin him. So I don't know how ideal that is. Okay, queen f3. Also, I planned to go here against it. I mean, I guess I should. Bishop f7 doesn't work, so he just wants to play it simple by trading. Makes a lot of sense because he still has some somewhat more active pieces. But I don't think the position is that bad. I also don't know if I should take or not. But okay, I have to move. Takes. And now rook d8 followed by bishop d5 seems to be making a lot of sense. To cut off this diagonal. Of course, after rook d1, I don't have time for that. But I can first of all take and maybe go bishop c6, but then he might go, I don't know, if b4. So preferably I will put the bishop on g6, I guess. And I'm not that sure about it. But okay, let's make a move. Not to lose in time, at least. I probably misplayed it somewhere, but if I get in bishop h5, then I will take control of the d file. And I don't know how bad it is. Probably can't be too bad. Still, it could be somewhat bad if he starts getting the pawns running down the board quickly, and then get some passed pawn. But objectively, I don't think the position is scary. And if I survive against a strong GM by playing 1d6, I'm happy with black. And then with white, we try to win. Let's see what my opponent will think of here. So he gives up the d file, but under his own conditions. So if I go here, then b4 could be a problem. Still, don't see any other options, which make a lot of sense. I could go to rook d8 or rook e8 and then put the rook on the second rank, but I would have to give up a pawn. I don't want to give up a pawn if I don't have to. And after b4, I have a choice between this and bishop b7, bishop f6. This one I don't really want to play, I think. Okay, goes to e1. I'll go to d8. Several reasons. First of all, attacking this one, and secondly, having bishop f8 later on. Probably king f8 makes a lot of sense, just getting rid of this pin, so now I can go f6, bishop f7 maybe. a5 is the move which I want to play also, to stop a3, b4. And even though this bishop looks nice, it doesn't do that much, especially now when the queens are off the board. So now I think I'm completely fine in the position. I might be wrong, but at least it seems to me that I'm completely fine. Okay, let's go f6 and a5 to stop this. I was considering to play rook e8 to pin, but it would probably be a similar position after bishop c3. And now maybe I want bishop f7 to get rid of this one. This one is annoying. And in any endgame, the more pieces get traded off, the happier I am, I think. Because his king is very far away. It can't go here. And now I think I should go a4. I think I should go a4 to fix the structure. Okay. Too bad that this doesn't work. Can go bishop f7 there, that's surely fine for me. Can go b5, that's more ambitious. He goes king g2. Okay, I will play bishop f7 and trade off. And then it feels like I have quite a good position with a more active rook. It will come to d3 next move, then I'll be threatening bishop a3, I think. Can also go rook c8, but then rook e4 will be a potential problem. And now I think I just start pushing the pawns down the board and try to create a passer here, because here I have a nice blockade. So, yeah. Wait, why can't I take? Bishop f6 or what? No, I think I forgot about it. I'll take. Feels way better for black in the endgame with c4, as weak as it is. Yeah. My reasoning also. I think you forgot about bishop a3. No, yeah. White feels lost, but yeah, bishop f6, and now let me see what to take. With king takes is probably better because I immediately want to go there, but still pawn takes is maybe also interesting because if takes, he can't go behind the passed pawn. Okay, I'll take with the pawn, and I'm not sure if it's passed, but I don't want him to go here. Like, if I had taken with the king, he would be able to go here and then put the rook on b8. And now, he can't go back, and if he goes here, then I will play rook b3 and rook b4 and try to collect the pawn, and my king was still coming. c5? What's that about? So if I take, then he wants this. Yeah, makes sense. So probably b5 is best. b5, c6. And then I go rook c3, I think. And now if he goes here, my plan was to take and go rook a6. Also, it's probably lost. I go rook c2 and a3, a2. I don't know which one is better. Intuitively, it looks more logical to put the rook behind the pass pawn. But this, I mean, I lost against Ponomario once, a very similar endgame when he had this rook and the pawn on a2. So I'm pretty sure it's lost here as well. And then you just run the king down the board. If I'm wrong, let it be, but if I'm wrong, let it be, but I don't think I am. A3 first looked also playable, same idea. Yeah, indeed. I don't know, maybe rook a6 was stronger, just to put the pawn, put the rook behind the pawn. I don't know, it's like I need to think on seconds. Especially, like, if I was an intuitive player, then I would probably play rook a6, but being a calculative player, and also having more past experience in this line, I went for this one. And basically the point was king e4. Still think I go here. So the idea is probably if I go here, then he goes to f5. Currently, he doesn't have a threat of his own. King c5 is the same. King f5 then. I don't want to allow the rook to infiltrate. How to do this? Rook c4 check. I don't know, I'll wait for now because I don't see a clear winning idea. In the immortal worlds of Peter Lekos, but okay. I mean, I don't know. Let's go here. I'm not afraid of this because then I would promote in the end. It's quite possible that I screwed up the game somehow. Let's go here. Had I gone back? I don't know. Where's my progress? It feels like I screwed up somewhere. I don't know where. Probably that rook a6 was just much better. Yeah, if my king was one square closer, but it wasn't. Now it's just repetition. I'm waiting for this, but maybe even this one is a draw now. After king f5, rook c5, king f6, rook a5, rook a2 takes, g5. No, but g5 I have h5, and then maybe I'm winning. I don't know, but at least I'm not lost, so. I'm from the Hudu. Way is your latest on Croatian? Do not can speak English. I don't know what you mean. I'm speaking in English, and I'm playing anonymously, not on my WHS account. Even if I trade my passer for his two pawns, H and F pawns are a draw, right? Yeah, probably yes. But still, I was supposed to play it in a completely different way. Okay, now this is one option, and the other one is to take H5. King G6 is not a problem, only G6 is a problem. Rook G7, G7, King C5, King F7, King D5, G8 Queen. Take, King E6. King DH7, King F5, and it looks winning, honestly. So let's see if I'm right or wrong. Because his king on G8 is too far away. I hate endgames. But he could have just waited and he didn't have to go for this one, I think. Now G7, king here. Has to go here, king D5 or D6, doesn't matter, I think. And now I think king E6, king F5, king G4, and I win. I calculated everything correctly, which I usually do. So yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there. I mean, pretty sure I was supposed to play. There were probably countless nuances, but I'm pretty sure I was supposed to play rook a6. Rook a6 there. Yeah, just 1 second for me to start a new game, and then go. Yeah. Okay, let's go for the next game. Tell me the first move, guys. Am I playing Title Tuesdays? No, I'm done with that. As I've said on the last time, I'm not gonna play online chess anymore. It's not possible just to deal with all of the nonsense happening on those tournaments. We want T4. We got T4. Let's go C4, E6. Okay, let's go for some Catalan. Or actually, yeah, why not? Let's go for some Catalan. And my opponent doesn't want to play Catalan. He wants to play the Benoni. Then I go knight f3 to switch things. Takes, d5. No, what am I? Bishop g2 I'm supposed to play, not take. There's takes, there is queen takes, and yeah, mixing my lines. e5. Now there are two moves. There's knight f3 and there is knight b3. And both are relatively playable. I have more experience with knight b3. S10 I used to have some games after d4, castles, knight here, and then f4. And there are many lines. There's bishop e7, which I liked as for black. There's h5, which is a new idea. Knight f3, d4 is more more to the point, because then you want just easy castles e3, d4, and play that kind of a position. Knight 2 is not really a move. It exists, but it's not very good because you usually don't need the knight there. Okay, let's go here. Considering this is a training game, maybe it's smarter to play the line I'm less familiar with. Obviously, taking here was not possible due to queen a5 and queen e5. Okay, well, as long as it's still theory, I can play way faster. So take, and now there's several moves. Rook e1 is the main move, trying to go for the quick knight e5 as far as I remember. There's also bishop f4. There's knight d2. So yeah, okay, let's go rook e1. Now we're getting kind of a reversed Benoni positions, but not really because I lack the pawn. Okay, my opponent goes for bishop e6. It's probably still theory if he blitzes it out. I don't know the theory that well in this line. Bishop f4 is a move. Not sure if I want to give up the pawn. Rook e6, I mean, it's kind of attractive to to sacrifice, but don't really believe that it's too good. Okay, this is the decision on the chat. Guys, do you want me to sack the exchange or not? Do you want me to sack the exchange or not? If you tell yes, I'll sacrifice. No, always sack, not. Okay, so for now there are 3 votes for no and 2 for yes. Okay, it doesn't work on the spot, like you don't have anything concrete, but it's not the point to have anything concrete. The point is to just sacrifice position. Bishop b6. Paul? Yeah, I could create one, but if it's good sack it, giving him the big black center. I mean, he's giving me the beautiful light squares. Don't do it. I mean, if it's best, I'll still do it, but let me consider other alternatives. Bishop g5 feels natural in the way that after bishop c4, there's bishop f6, and then he has to take with the g-pawn, and no matter the sacrificed pawn on c4, it's probably good. Knight d2 I don't really want to play, even though it's a move. Just for the reason... Just for the reason that my bishop on c1 remains passive. It's still playable to do this, like knight bd2, then castles a3, a5, b3, and bishop b2 I play, and the game goes on. Mm. Is queen b3 a move? It's a move in some of the lines here. The problem when you play stuff... I mean, I use these training games to play stuff I'm not familiar with, to learn more, but then I often get into trouble because I don't know much about the stuff, so... Yeah, bishop g5, he would probably play h6, and then I would take bishop f6, bishop f6. Knight d2, then I managed to get rid of the bishop, but he'll play d3, and he has some pressure on the dark squares. I don't know, I'm taking some time. I don't play the Catalan. Yeah, in King's Indian, sometimes you do. Sometimes here you also want. This is a different structure. There is a pass pawn here. Okay, let's go knight b2. I don't think that's a great move, by the way. Even though my opponent blitzes out castle, so it's probably theory. And maybe he's bluffing also. Now probably a3 makes a lot of sense. I want to go b4 and to provoke a5. And also I'm stopping ideas like these. So. Okay. Now knight e5 could also be a move, but I wanted to play with b3, bishop b2, trying to put more pressure on this pawn. You'd be able to defend it with bishop c5, then I'd go here. I mean, I need to develop the dark squared bishop somehow, so let's do this. There could be some ideas with d3, bishop b2, bishop c5, and then some sacrifice here. You need to be careful there. Knight g4 and queen b6 coming up. But that's for the past. Yeah, kind of a double fianchetto. I'll check this out later on if this is theory or what have I done wrong. I mean, I usually play d5 and the Benoni, but there have been quite a lot of Benoni games by me recently in this line. So. Don't feel like playing another one. I want more different, like more different openings and not always the same stuff. Okay, bishop b2. I think I should play. He could play rook d8. It's a normal move. And then I need to think whether I'm supposed to trade these knights, maybe go knight g5, or think about some plan. Think about some plan there. I'll just briefly check something on my phone and then I'm back. Okay, rook d8. My opponent is playing quite quickly. I don't know if it's theory or he's just not happy about how the last game went. Because you're never happy when you lose with white. Can definitely relate to that. So 95 feels like the first candidate move to consider. It's not forcing him to take, but let's say if he takes, I will take here, then this pawn is also hanging. Quite often these rooks in the Benoni structures, they go here, like usually black plays and they go rook e4, rook b4 sometimes. Here it's a similar idea. Still, I don't know if I really want that. Could go knight e4 as well. Knight e4, rook e4. Get rid of these knights, and yeah, leave the other ones. But okay, 95 feels like the most logical take. What is his move? b6 or something? Knight e4 could force my opponent maybe to move this pawn sooner or later. Because if takes like knight e4, rook e4. In d3, but maybe it's good for him to move the pawn. Probably go queen d2, bishop f5. Yeah, I kind of don't really want it. I want to try to activate the rook. He still has the ideas of going d3, but my knight on d2 is going to blockade that nicely, I hope. And let's see what happens. So my opponent does take. It wasn't the only move. Um, it wasn't the only move, but it's surely a move. We don't have many viewers today, but it's probably best to have little viewers. Opponent has a nice time advantage. Yeah, but as long as there is increment, I'm not that afraid. Like even the last game, he also had the time advantage throughout the game. So yeah, now these ideas with rook b5. I mean, maybe why not? Because bishop c5 will run into b4. Can go knight c4 as well. It looks relatively normal. What happens after knight e4 actually? Knight takes, bishop takes. If he attacks the rook, I can always put it on b5. Pozdrav Števkić, protiv koga igraš? A, to ne smijem reći, nemam dopuštenje od svojih protivnika da to kažem. Samo da mogu reći da je velemajstor. Will you stream Title Tuesday? No. I'm done with Title Tuesdays and all of that stuff. I don't have the thick enough skin to fight people and engines there. That's basically how it is. Like until something changes, I will not play them anymore. Until something changes in the anti-cheating measures or everything or something, it's not fun anymore. When it's not fun, we should stop playing. Like now, I need to spend my time wisely on calculation because knight f3 also exists, and that would basically force. Okay, it doesn't force d3 because he has bishop c5. Okay, so knight f3, bishop c5, still knight g5 is a move, and bishop g4. It's weird. Oh, okay, how many people have suspected in a single title Tuesday? In a single, I think no more than two, maybe three once. But yeah, I think that in February, the monthly report said that Chess.com banned 8 title players, and I think I faced 3 of them, which have never logged on after Title Tuesday. I mean, that doesn't mean that they're banned. It just means they never logged on their accounts since that Title Tuesday I played against them. So, I don't have skin thick enough to do to do Title Tuesdays anymore. Just I don't gain anything by playing them anymore. It's not even fun. Okay, the viewers are maybe like to watch, but there are many other better streamers than me to watch. Yeah, if I could get Knight d3 in one move would be nice, but I can't. The rules of chess are not allowing it. Still, maybe this knight e4 makes a lot of sense. You can go d3 then. It could be a problem. The rook b5. And I'm allowing the pawn to go to d2. I don't really feel that comfortable with it, honestly. So let's go here. That was my original idea. I want this and maybe I want b4. I don't know if I want b4, but maybe. Also now after knight e4, knight e4, bishop b4, or after knight e4, d3, I can go queen d2. And before that was not really an option, I think, because he would take and go d3, and there would be bishop f6 idea with d3. Maybe I could have done it fast move too, but I don't know. The problem is for everyone, they ban. There is definitely a few that get away with it. That's only part of the problem. The cheaters don't have anything to lose. Like, nobody knows it. You can't prove it that they cheated. Nobody knows they cheated. Why wouldn't they? They try to do it. The punishments are just not. They don't. Their name doesn't get published anywhere. It's just a situation I don't want to have business with. I don't want to have anything to do with it. So 94, 94 takes. The good thing with this is that I'll have bishop d5 in the future, and then I'll be able to cut off the file and take on d4. So probably this, but also knight f3 makes some sense. Try to take, but I mean then I get yeah. I think I need to go here. I also need to speed up. That's one thing I definitely need to do. Speed up and yeah. Also there are some ideas with connected with a4 for black. And also with attacking the rook, and for example, now if he ever attacks the rook, I can take and go put the rook on d5, and it should be decent. Even though still that position, it should be fine. Guess we'll have to watch another Kamsky meltdown then. Why not? Watch Kamsky, watch Kramnik, watch Nakamura, watch all the normal streamers. I'm just part-time streamer, very little part-time. Makes you wonder if they even earned their titles. Technically, yes. Not technically, but definitely, yes. But I don't really want to spend so much time on this channel talking about cheating, Title Tuesday, etc. Now, you wanted an update that I'm done with Title Tuesdays, I am. But these competitive training rapid matches where I know the opponent, there I'm happy to play, and also it's instructive and fun, no matter if we win or lose. Maybe these daily recaps of games over the board, which I'm gonna play, can also be streamed. Yeah, competitive online chess, I think it makes absolutely no sense at this point to play for players like myself. I remember saying Kasparov that in Greenfield the blockade of d pawn even in 7th rank is sometimes okay. It is, but it always depends on the position. In this position, I don't really think so. Hello, hello, Ingo. How is it going? It's fine, I won the past game. Yeah, recaps are nice usually. Usually get like, people can tell you their perspective of things in the game. So you can learn from it. My opponent is surely thinking about some moves like takes and a4 or something like that. Haven't talked much about the game because there has been more messages in the chat. But after a4, my idea was to play bishop d5, and then after bishop d5, rook d. It's highly unlikely that I'm worse. Because I'll get the d4 pawn, it will be under attack by both queen and my bishop on b2. Maybe in those recaps you can mention some prep you don't use anymore. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if I'll be doing recaps, so maybe I'll just focus on playing, and Because okay, I'm just doing streaming for fun, and it's not even possible to subscribe. I'm not. I ended even the affiliate agreement. It's not. I just do it for fun, and title Tuesdays are not fun anymore, for example, or titled arenas for that matter. My next over the board events: German Bundesliga, Austrian Bundesliga, um, then Grenke, Chess Classic, Open, not Classic Open, of course not Classic, and then the Italian League. Those I'll play in a row now in the next month. So it's going to be a hard and exhausting period. Hopefully I can use it to get back to 2600, or at least like I'd be happy with any rating gain at this point. Did this come from the G3 red tier or the English? The it was d4. The move order was d4 knight f6 c4 e6 g3, and then c5 knight f3 cd4 cd4 wait, why didn't I see this move? cd4 knight d4 d5 bishop g2 e5 knight f3. That was the move order. Why didn't I see this? Okay, b4 feels like the only move to play. Otherwise, bishop d7 will come. Actually, maybe it's not the only move. I don't know if I can do something like this. But b4, let's say ab. It's not a necessity, but let's say here, queen c2. And there is an annoying d3 move. That's the point. And then there's bishop f2. It's check. Unbelievable. Yeah, I should not have played this. We'll probably have to part ways with an exchange in some way. Now when I look at it. Queen h5 and f5 probably. Why didn't I see this move at all? That's so dumb. And this is nice calculation. Like bishop c4, bishop h7, king h7, there is king c2, queen c2, d3, queen c4, and there is this bishop f2 takes and then c4. Unbelievable. You can't make it work anyhow, unfortunately. Can play queen d3 on move 1, then trying to go b4. Queen d4, just bishop d7 probably. Yeah, I guess I wasn't focused in this game. I'm trying to find some improvement on the line, but I just don't see it. Yeah, I'm really stupid, I suppose. And that's the only explanation for this. Rank open, maybe we'll play Hans. Somebody's asking to get banned. But yeah, cheers to Ben Ilfini. Maybe I'll play Hans. I don't know what I'll do then. Maybe not show up. Depends. Yeah, that's a long list of tourneys indeed. I'm playing Grenka, the GMs get free accommodation. I don't. Probably the others don't either. I'll pay for the accommodation, but still feels worth playing. You'll come to my board when you can. Okay, Inko. You can do it if you want. So now I don't have a good move. That's the problem. Some queen e4, queen h4, or what? I mean, okay, I have to try something. Position is dead lost anyway, so let's try to spice things up by attacking. I only have 2 pieces to attack with, but maybe it's enough. Highly unlikely, but maybe it's enough. Yeah, there's bishop c4 after b4 and many other things. Oh, Saturday will be there as well, obviously, in Hamburg. So the Bundesliga games will be interesting. At least queen c6 and queen h6 doesn't seem to be working. Queen c6, I think I can go b4, queen e4, bishop b4, bishop b5, bc5. Even that's good for him. Bishop c4, cb6. Yeah. So, my opponent's saying that he isn't scared of anything. Probably rightly so. Still, it feels at least a bit weird. Happens after b4. I might lose some time. Don't blame me if I do that. b4, bishop, b5, bc5, bishop. Okay, I'll have to play it in a bit different way. I think just take here. And this is the check now. So at least I have some pawns. At least I have some pawns for the piece. Doesn't look that bad. I think my opponent didn't do that well. Hello to Chessbaiter one. Still theory. Highly unlikely, but nothing would surprise me in today's chess. Okay, so obviously king moves are not possible. So I don't know what my opponent's thinking about. Maybe he forgot it's a check. But okay, obviously I have to take with a check. And now I'll probably take b6 with the queen, because then after queen takes I can take with the rook. Rook d5 also exists, but then bishop c6 and I don't know. I still need to be very careful because he has the good bishop considering my king side structure. Okay, I think that the worst has passed, but I might be wrong. I'm expecting king h7 to be played. And then, okay, if I go queen h4, then he can go king g7. So probably I'm just gonna take king h7, queen b6. And then I don't know if he can keep the queens on the board. Probably not. Probably he should take, go rook b8. And then maybe I can take and go b4, trade everything off. I mean, that should be a draw. Still, some defense is needed there. What a salvage mission! We need to salvage. What's salvage? What is salvageable? Yeah, I don't know what was actually going on in that tactics or what my opponent was supposed to play. Still, I'm not better at all. Don't like even think that I'm better or something, that I'm gonna win the game. But this is the best position I've had all game, probably. Now my opponent has the opportunity to use his time advantage wisely, if he can. Because even in the endgame, after this king h7 happens, which I'm pretty sure will, I don't know if there is something I'm missing why he's not playing it still. Queen h4, check, king g8. Is he scared of some rook g5? Goes to g8? Really? Why? Like, take? Now it will be 4 pawns for a piece, and also g6 is immediately hanging, so I don't know. I would not allow g6 to be immediately hanging, that's why I would put the king on h7, that's the main point. So yeah, how's life in general while we wait? Well, it's normal. Without streaming, without playing and streaming online events, it's really good. No more Title Tuesday nonsense. Yeah, bishop f5. And now it's again a question. Like he will go rook d2 and try to cause damage here. And while he's doing that, I should find some way of creating counterplay, which is not easy at all, by the way. I will probably have to play f4 sooner or later. I don't know if it's good, but I'll go rook e1, trying to activate my final piece. Yeah, g4 just to throw a cheapo, but I think that my king would be even weaker after that. Maybe I'm wrong still, but after rook d2, I think I can again go g4 if it's about that. And then I will not have f4. That's the main problem actually, because I will not be able to cover the f file well. Yeah, I don't like how this is going. Especially due to the time situation. Rook b8. Surprised. I'm surprised genuinely that he's going for trades. Okay, I'll go here. Takes, he'll go rook b8 probably. And then I will go rook e5. And it should be a draw. But I would always have played for a win there. Wait, how to defend this in the best possible way? I mean, b4 would leave another pawn on the board. Probably should go here. But still, there's a small problem with the bishop coming here. Hopefully just a small one. Yeah. It's a bit problematic because if I let the bishop here, I have to let the bishop either to h3. Okay, I don't know. Or to e4. Now I let it go here. But then I still think I should be in time with g4. Like here, g4. And then should be in time to reduce everything, reduce the material with h5. Yeah, I don't know. Bishop e4, I think g4. No, wait, g4, there is rook h3. Didn't see that. I have to go here first, hoping for rook b1, but he can go rook b2 now, which is why I didn't want this. Still, maybe I can go h5 after rook b2. Because as long as it's not mate, rook and bishop should be salvageable. I'm not that worried about rook and bishop. Yeah, it does look like a draw. Objectively, it is a draw if I don't blunder some stupid checkmate. But I don't think that will happen now. Even though I'm playing on my last seconds in both games, it's not always about time. I should remember that, guys. Can play this one though, but I think that can go rook g5 and then g4. But bishop f3 is best because he wants to checkmate me. Surely the best, like the most challenging line. So still black is putting pressure on. Don't be like. Would I draw this in Classical if not for time travel versus Magnus? 10 out of 10? No. Probably not. It's not so easy. He's still putting pressure. Because if I'm in time with this, then it's a draw. There is still one pawn on the board, and he will get the king up. His king up. I don't see a better move than g4. I need to create some loot, but then he goes king h6. Because if he allows h5, then it's nothing. And now I think I start using this pawn. That's the last asset I have. And if he goes here, then I'm in time with king g3. But if he just waits, then I will push here. And also I don't think he can make that much of a progress. So probably it's a draw. I mean, I don't know if I would be able to draw against Magnus. Rook and bishop, yes, but I think you're gonna get winning chances somehow. How can you get winning chances here? You can only get drawing chances. Yeah, and for example, it was way easier to draw. I think had I gone takes b4, then he would take this twice, but I would be in time with king g2 and maybe h3, f3, g4, and so on. And when I put the pawns on those squares, it's like better. So, for example, if I would be able to go king g3 and f3 and protect with the rook, it's immediately a draw. And if my opponent allows f4, f5, then I can surely say I would draw it. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of hard. If he moves the king, then h5 comes and you can exchange. If he waits, I mean, how is he going to wait? If he moves the rook somewhere, then I get king g3. He, um, and what else? If he moves the bishop, then I get in f4. So now I think it's for sure you win this, I believe. I don't know what would have to happen so that I win this game. Okay, if he waits like this, now I can go a6, rook a3, a7, and then when he takes, then I can go king g3 and king f4. It's probably one way to draw it, but probably easier would be to just move the king up and just ask him like, what is he going to do? Because if he takes, I take with the king, and other moves I can just go back or go forward. I don't know. Probably if he goes to e2, I shouldn't go forward. Should go back. But okay, what's wrong with going back? Again, he has the same dilemma, and now maybe I can even move the rook next. If he goes play some bishop b7, then I go back. And okay. But maybe, yeah, there are some chances. I should go back, right? If I go forward, rook f3, king e5. Yeah, I should go back. Rook f3 maybe can be played, but then even I don't know if rook b5 then. I just need h5. So king g1, then there is this rook h3 nonsense. And then I go f4, he takes on h4. Okay, so go here. But as you see, not only that I won't win, I'm still struggling to survive. But now, considering the bishop is hanging, h5 should be because if he attacks the rook, then I can go here and then h5. And if he plays some bishop before, then I can go h5. Yeah. h5 g5 I wanted to say, rook b6, he moves back. Go a6. It's still not clear cut, by the way. If I should play h5 or not. I think I should. I think that I have here and just go back. Even though he has king f6 then. Yeah, maybe it's not so clean because he can go here, and then if I give a check, he can go forward. So let's push the pawn down the board then. Because now at least his king is cut off and I have two passers, even though he can take them at any point. So yeah, the endgames are always what you want to see, guys. I never know what to do in endgames. By far my worst area of chess. But also, my opponent didn't play the last endgame that well. Where do I go now? Let's go here. He goes to d3, then I can give a check and go a7. I think that's relatively important. King f7. Okay, he's putting more pressure. I don't know if h6 is good, but I'm gonna play it. Because if I go here, then I think he would just be able to play bishop d3 and start taking the pawn. And I want to create counterplay no matter what now. Does I have two passed pawns? I can go to f2 now. I don't know if I want to. My pawn is trying to gain time. I want to escape the corner. I don't know if it's right, by the way. I have no clue if it's right. Pause 7 units. My opponent is not Hans. Trust me. Let's go king up. I don't think he can ever take this pawn. Might be wrong. Let's give a check. I have h7. As far as I see. So wait, h7? What am I missing? Or a7 even. And then h7. Feels like my opponent allowed me everything. Like, how does he stop my pawn now? It's possible that he overpressed. I mean, I sincerely hope so. Bishop c2. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking. King e5. Okay, trying to stop me. I think I have to get rid of this. Speaking of Hans is prohibited. As I said, you're gonna get winning chances. I mean, not really. But, I mean, there are winning chances now still. It's not clean. It's probably drawn, but it's not clean. For example, if he goes back, I can go to d3, and then he doesn't have king f4 due to this. He can give a check first, though, and then go king f4. But then I can go king b5, and if he takes, again, I can block. I wouldn't be surprised if it's winning now, especially after the check. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So now I go here, right? I go here, and if it takes, then I use the bridge. Then I use the bridge. So he can go to g3 technically. And rook d3 is winning, but takes some time. But if I go king b6, then he can take. Okay, this is lost, surely. I'll just go here. I don't know, so undeserved. So undeserved, but how many times have I overpressed? How many times have I overpressed in my life? Yeah, just 1 second. Okay. Yeah, good old bridge. I'm a true endgame maestro. Yeah, I won two endgames, out of which I deserve to win none. But okay, what do we do now? D6 worked well. Let's do it again. Do I tend to play in Ljubljana? What exactly? That Memorial. Gospodarczy Memorial. That I have zero intention of playing because of playing Grenke. I went there 2 years ago. It wasn't a great experience, but not Ljubljana Chess Festival, end of April, beginning May. I have no plans for that. I didn't even know it exists, honestly. I might check it out, but highly unlikely I will play. My pawn plays h3, then I have to castle, and then he plays e4. With the idea of playing this King's Indian. And against this King's Indian, what do we do? Do we play with c6, with c5? Normal lines with e5. Here I'm gonna give you guys a question. Which move to play? 9 rounds, 10k prize money or something? Yeah, I might come, but don't count on it. We'll see. Yeah, it's not exactly my Makogonov. The knight is on f3, not the bishop on e3. Yeah, I would look at my chessable course. They're combining with Slovenian national championships. Okay, fair enough. c5, e5, e5, knight, h5 lines. Yeah, hard choice, hard choice. Okay, how about c5 and a5? C5 e6 and play improved Benoni. But if you play for c6, c5, d5, e6, then they play bishop d3, and after e d5 they take with the e pawn. Because if they take with the c pawn, then you have a good version of the Benoni. So let's go for knight a6, knight c5 here. Oh, bishop d3. Yeah, against the bishop d3 lines, you don't always want to put this knight here. Sometimes you want to put this knight here, and or even put this one here, so that a3 b4 is hard to deal with. Of course, now it can't really be done because of how my opponent plays, but that's why the move queen e8 exists, which I usually like to employ. It's not the only move, or it's not even the best, but has a clear strategical idea behind it. Because you don't really want to go h6 because then queen d2 comes with a tempo, and also it's harder to get in f5. Okay, I'll go queen e8. Yeah, the old queen e8 approach developed by, who developed this? Stein? I don't know. Back in 1950s. Yeah, and h5, knight h4, knight f4 lines, those are playable also, but can only choose one line per game. I remember that knight b6, knight c5 thing from modern chess database is the main line. It's not the main line anymore, but still it's playable. Now my opponent short castles. Short castles. I mean, when they short castle, means they're not gonna go g4. So, like, knight h5 is tempting. Go knight f4. How does my opponent play after knight h5? g3 can't play. Can let the knight on f4 with some move like queen d2, but then I can go knight c5. c5, bishop c2, knight f4. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. Some bishop c3. Huh. I don't know, probably he would that intense queen d2. We go knight c5 first, I guess similar idea. Now, when he castled short, I'm pretty sure I want the a6 knight on c5 and the f6 knight somewhere else, trying to go f5 too. Strategy is different when the bishop is on c2. Like, it's not on c2, but on d3, it will come to c2. And still, even this idea is not so unplayable when I go f5. With this knight coming here and the other one here. Because I'm not sure how useful this one is on h5. Queen d2, maybe then f5 also. Or knight c5, bishop c2, then f5. It's a hard choice to make, honestly. You know what? Who cares? Anyway, let's go for knight h5. Kaspi played this queen e8 a lot versus Petrosyan. Yeah, but it was known way before than he played. King h8, knight g8 is slow. I mean, it's a plan, surely it's a plan, but it's kind of slow. And I prefer to put this knight somewhere else. So the f5 idea. When the queen is on e8, you're not afraid of some knight h4s because this is defended by the queen. So. And bishop h6, yeah, maybe, but I think I should react quickly because of this setup. Just try for this and f4, and leave the bishop on g5. Let it be. At least then I have ideas of f4, and then the bishop could even get trapped. So I pretty much like my position, honestly. I don't know if I should. Maybe it's still theory, but the King's Indians, I'm usually playing. Less for theory and more for understanding. That's the advantage of them. Bishop usually misplaced on d3, I think. I mean, it's a different line. It exists. It's not very like before. Nobody would put the bishop on d3, but in the engine era, they started doing this too. Like put the bishop on c2 to fight against f5, and then try just slowly play a3, b3, b4, or b3, a3, a4, b3, a3, b4. I got it right after the third time. Okay, rook e1. So I'm not sure about including this because then knight b5 could come without me having bishop d7. So f5 is what I want to play. But considering the rook is on e1, I don't know if some lines like takes are possible. Okay, knight d4, there is queen g6, I suppose, and after bishop e7 there is knight f4. I can go knight f4 first. It's probably a very logical move. Because then I will surely get the bishop pair. Like, why not, actually? Queen d2, I can take this one. Like, bishop f4, yeah. Queen d2 then, but I can go bishop e5. Or knight c5 first. Knight c5 first is probably better. Bishop c2 and then bishop e5. I mean, I've had a very similar game against the Serbian Grandmaster Ivanišević on the Austrian League. And I was quite happy with the position after knight f4 happened. So I think it's good. Usually bishop on e2 is well placed to meet knight h5 f5, as I remember from your course. Sometimes yes, but when the knight is on f3, then it's a different strategy. It's a different strategy. Should I write another chessable course on something, guys? Yes, my opponent does what I thought he will do, but now I can play knight c5, I think. This runs into, of course, knight d3. So he should play, I think, this. Maybe I chose the wrong move order, played too quickly. Maybe I was supposed to play bishop e5 first. Because, like, my original idea was this, and then after knight b5, there is a small problem with the c7 pawn, because if I go here, then he can maybe take, and I would have to do this, which I don't really want. But the good news is that after bishop c2, maybe I can go a4. And it looks dumb, but after this, I can play maybe a3. He would get in e5 then. And had I left if I left the knight on h6, then bishop b5, knight b5, there would be no threats. Okay, I need the bishop d7 move as well. Bishop b2 coupled with rook e1 and knight f3 meets knight h5 with knight d2 and things like that. Yeah, that's true, and the bishop goes to f1 then, usually. Write another course where there's a lot of piece placement strategy knowledge involved. Okay, I'm available for the topics. Okay, two more games, including this one, of course. Yeah, and then I don't think I'll continue. I think I'll end the stream immediately after the match. There is some more work I need to do. Title Tuesdays, I will not play. Technically, I can stream them and watch others play, but probably no point. Yeah, bishop c2. Now let's think, because a4, queen f4, a3. Looks nice, but there might be e5. And after takes, rook b1, takes, knight e5. Strange position. I'll go queen b8 back, queen d8 back, then he would take rook b2. I can't really dislodge this. But if I go bishop b5, then knight b5. They don't want to go back. a4 he can also play technically b4. ab3, rook e1, rook takes. But the pin remains, and I don't really believe him. So let's see this stuff. Knight b5, queen e7, takes, d takes. e6, cd, queen d. Second sight I liked it. At first sight I didn't really like it, but at second sight I like it because my knight's going to come to d4. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Obviously my opponent doesn't have to do what I said. He can do queen e7, knight e5d, and just wait. But then, I mean, at least f3 is immediately in the air, and it's quite hard for him to get rid of this knight, and don't think it's good strategically for him. But who knows? Semi-Slav, Queen's Indian Catalan type things. Strategic ideas behind piece placement in chess by me. I mean, considering that I'm a tactical player in general, I don't know. So Allianz gets 5% of the income for inventing the title. And current viewers get 30% off. If the course gets out, yes. I'll send you my credit card details in a Twitch whisper. Just transfer my royalties there. Okay, let's do the aforementioned idea. I mean, maybe I should consider queen e5 also, knight c7, rook b8. In general, I would prefer that. Actually, wait. Why am I pre-moving? It shouldn't pre-move. I should always consider all the candidate moves, normally. Queen e5, knight c7. Rook b8. Defending stuff. Now b2 is hanging. Knight b5 back is logical. It's not the only move, but it's a logical one, so the d6 is hanging. 3 probably. Or bishop d7 first. f3, let's say. It doesn't look clean, that. Still, I think I'll take with the pawn. Because d6 is not a problem. It's a strange structure if this actually happens. It's a funny structure. But probably I was supposed to play in a bit different way here. Here. Bishop b5 first and then knight b5 is not so good. Okay, you live and learn. Still not the end of the world, of course. What's the objective evaluation of this position? Is black already preferable? This position is extremely hard and they don't know the objective evaluation. And even the engines would struggle for sure at first sight. Okay, my opponent plays rook b1. Not the move I expected. At least, even if the evaluation is not clean, the plans are clean. So black wants to start attacking here, while white will try to go here. I'm trying to understand how to play because he still maybe wants knight e5 next move. Bishop d7, there is knight c7, but it's not the end of the story because then I can go rook c8. It's actually very interesting. Bishop d7, knight c7 here. If he goes back, then I can take. And even though I sacrificed the pawn, strategically, it feels like my pieces are where they're supposed to be. c6 is the most logical. Actually, wait. c6 exists. And at first I thought c6 wasn't good because of takes, knight e5, and something takes. Or that after knight e5 I would have to take this and then allow d6 and knight c7. But this exists, cb5. With b takes c4. So c6 is actually a very interesting candidate move to consider. So dc6, bc, knight e5. Then I can go de. And then I have the position I want. And if knight bd4, I can go bishop d7. Again, it looks quite good. Even though he has some knight e2 ideas, but I can go, if nothing else, g5. I don't mind g5 here. I want g5, h5 strategically in the long run. Yeah, let's do it. Knight e5 first is the only important thing, because then if I take with the queen, then he has this stuff, which is not to be allowed. So knight e5, cb is the point. And then he has to move the knight, and then I'll take this one. Or even go b4, I don't know, but probably take. Makes more sense. Usually having clean plans is better than evaluation. It depends on the position, but sometimes. I had so many Sicilian positions where I would win material on queen side, but white just goes you only live once on king side. Yeah. Navigating tricky chess positions with clean. Okay, the titles will have to work out. Okay, he goes immediately here. Now we'll go bishop d7. Okay. The position doesn't look that bad. Even though white still has his slow plan of a3, b3, a3, b4. Because a3 immediately I will of course block it like this. And my plan would be this, like starting with king g7, g5, h5, g4, and queen f6. Those are the moves I want to play. For example, if here, then probably actually maybe g5 is preferable if knight e2 happens. But if something like this, I'm expecting with b3. And okay, the game goes on, of course. It's not the end of the world for either side. But how bad can it be? Knight e5 if what something e5 he can go knight f3 and d5 next. Yeah, also that. You can come up with course titles faster than I produce the courses. Yeah, I think so. Unsurprisingly. I'd prefer to have the knight on e5 and not the bishop, but that needs some time. And also after g5, for example, a3, b4 is going to come and I will need to put the knight somewhere and I'm not sure where. I mean, maybe I should go like here, a3, g4, just open everything up and say who cares. But I do care, that's the point. X takes knight e7. I think this one will be hanging still. He has this knight blockade, and even though I have a nice blockade of my own, maybe white is now the one who has easier play. Still, it doesn't mean anything, of course. I can take cd5 at some point also, after ed5. Still has the same plan, but there are some other ideas for me, like f5 and knight e4 at some point. But opening the e5 also doesn't seem too good. But we can't just wait and do nothing. Huh. I mean, I can also just leave it alone and play queen f6, a3, a4, and then after b4, I just go knight b3, and if he takes with the knight, then I have bishop c3, I think. Rook fc8 may be a move. Rook fc8, a3, bishop e8. It looks dumb, really dumb, but knight d7 is gonna come. And then I will have ideas of a4 and cd5 and the c4 pawn will be weak. Huh. Some advanced strategy here, which could be quite bad. Still, I have to do something, don't I? Again, I'm taking quite a lot of time, but it's because I'm unsure on what to do. I'm just very unsure. Still theory, surely. Winning chess games by waiting and doing nothing. Can I take bishop d4? I can, but what's the point? This will be weak. So yeah, rook c8. I will try this. Very slow plan. But you need a square for the knight. b4. But you can imagine this turning around, like after knight d7. This will be weak, so there's some moves like that. My bishop is dumb, but still, it wasn't doing that much on this diagonal either. So let's put the bishop to sleep for now, and hopefully soon enough it will get its job back. Now probably my opponent is supposed to take before I go knight d7 and I'm able to take with the knight. Because then after knight f3, it's still not clean or anything, but had I taken with the queen, there would be moves like e5, so that was not good. But yeah, now d6 is the idea. This could come under attack after queen c3, for example. Okay, d6, I don't know if it's so good because of this. Maybe I should play a prophylactic move like f6. b4 he will play. Hmm. I also need to speed up. Let's go knight d7. If b4, then maybe I can take and go c5, because if I can create the blockade, it could be good. Blockade on the dark squares. In the future, I still want this, but that's some distant future. My bishop on e8 is now stupid, as I knew it would be, but to do. This is some advanced type of next time by me. Using the clock as a weapon, exactly. But thus far it didn't, okay, even though I was down on the clock, it didn't have much of an influence. Rich position, very rich. Maybe I was supposed to play for that a4 thing. I don't know how that would be. a4 here. He would have still had knight b5 maybe. Okay, who knows? Maybe this whole plan wasn't right, and I was supposed to just play something connected with bishop d7 and f5, no matter the consequences. Like f5 feels so logical, or bishop d7 followed by f5. But f5 first to provoke bishop to go back. Yeah, knight f4 is too. I think it's too positional. It was too slow and too positional. I was supposed to play. The other one. Hello to Mr. Julie England. How can someone contact you for coaching? I mean, you can send me a Twitch direct message or somewhere. I don't know. But I'm specialized in coaching 2000 plus rated players. I don't have experience in coaching beginner players. I don't know what your level is, but just so you know it. You're close to 1900. Yeah, okay. I mean, you can send me a Twitch direct message and we can talk about it. I'm always available for talking about things. would an amateur no over the board experience but 2300 online blitz player qualify or not? I mean, anyone would qualify. Just I'm specialized in working with intermediate and master players. So anyone can contact me, but just I'm telling you what my specialization is. You should increase your threshold. I feel like 2000 isn't what it used to be because of the new feeder rating rule, I suppose. Yeah. Cool, thanks. Yeah, no problem, no problem. I'm just not 100% sure when I'll be able to answer, but it will surely be the first convenient time for me that I'll answer. Okay, so I expected d6 because this was hanging, so now probably queen f6 is what I'm supposed to play, and then b4 is probably what my opponent will play, and after takes c5. I mean, the rising position is very curious to me because I will have these ideas to take the pawn, but again, the pawn again with passed pawns, it's always you need to understand if they're a strength or a weakness. These passed pawns. I don't have to take also. I think I should, but I'm not sure. Still, can't really think for too long. I have to do this. If he closes with b5 to stop these ideas, then at least I will have another idea with this knight d4 later on. If this knight is able to come to d4, good things could happen. Still, knight f8, there's a problem of queen c3, and I will not be able to defend this pawn. My pieces are stuck here. Just a second to get back to the chat. Would someone like me be paying the coach what I'm saying? No, I mean, like, it's not a problem. Like, whatever you're saying is it's a good learning opportunity. If what you're saying makes sense, it's very good. If it doesn't make sense, it's a learning opportunity. So don't worry about that. That's the last thing people should be worried about. The coaching. What to do with these rooks? If I trade them off and go rook c6, there will be rook a8. If I trade them off and go knight b6, again I don't like it. I should probably not trade. I can go queen e6, which I could have played a millennia ago. This position is so tricky to play, especially with little time on the clock. There's one wrong move here and I'll suffer a lot. Bishop a4 is also an idea by my opponent. I don't know if it's good, but it's an idea. Knight f8 I can't go. Okay, let's go here. We're losing time. What percentage of my chess income comes from coaching versus playing? Playing gives me way higher income. Because I am just a professional player. Will I arrive on Friday? The thought that Martin Schelling and me are hitting the bars? I will come on Friday, yeah. Go to a karaoke bar with Schelling? Yeah. I've said that next time I'll sing on stream is the next time I win Title Tuesday. And considering I stopped playing them, I will never win them and I will never sing. Sorry. Get a position with a deep pawn on third rank prearranged. Yeah. Only the first one wasn't like that. Came in style rook a1, rook a1, rook c6. I mentioned that, but there was rook a8, and I wasn't sure. what to do there. So bishop a4. Now there are several options I can take, but then takes in 95 is the problem. So my original idea was actually to play b6. And okay, I have to do something quickly. The point is just not to allow takes and c5. Just to solidify. Still, I'm completely unsure about the position. Probably worse. Because the passed pawn is very passed. Let's say it like that. But still, if some queen d5 or something happens, I can take and go f6. f6 I need. f6 is a move I need to destroy this knight, and there are no more ideas here. And my plan of bringing the knight to d4 is long gone. So we're having team dinner and stuff to start preparing for the game's boring life of a professional player. No, not exactly. I mean, you guys, those who know me better, know that due to my health problems, I can't eat in restaurants or anywhere outside, so I have to eat and cook my own food basically on tournaments. Okay, bishop b5. So I don't really, I mean, I can go to dinners for company, but not more than that. Huh. Okay, let's play f6. Ooh, that was a bad move. That was a horrible move. Yeah, this is the game in which time trouble got to me. This was this was the game in which time trouble got to me. It was a horrible move to make. Yeah, it's my own fault. But probably my opponent played quite well the whole game. I don't know. This one I'm very curious to analyze with the engine, by the way. Okay, just 1 second to just 1 second. Get another game in. Yeah, the past game I resigned. No, it wasn't a distraction. The position was probably just not good. But okay. Let's go e4. Okay, 2-1. c5. Let's go d4. I'll take with the queen. Yeah, that was a good game by my opponent, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure, like, that the whole knight f4 idea might not be... Because he had quite an easy plan there. I don't know. We'll analyze the games later on. If I win this one, it's 2-2. No, if I win this one, it's 3-1. Okay, takes, bishop g5. We're playing the mainline stuff here. e6, long castles. There's also that queen d3, the early queen d3 line, but I don't feel like playing it. I feel like playing the one with rook h1 and d5. The one with Title Tuesday, which I've used on Title Tuesdays sometimes, just to see how my opponent will deal with it. So basically, you have already at least a match draw against. Like, why are you telling that this is Hans? Like, I should start banning people. Okay, this game I'm the one who will have the clock advantage. And will that help? Find out later. 5 minutes later, he's down 3 minutes. But we'll see. Can you imagine I won my team game basically in 5 moves on Sunday? Knight f3, g6, c4, bishop g7, d4, d6, bishop c4, knight d7. Sure, I can believe that. Sure, I can believe that. h6. So my opponent is trying to play this kind of a position. So yeah, but this was supposed to be better for white, as far as I remember. Maybe I don't remember correctly though. Because now if they trade the queens, and take on c3, then you take with the b pawn, and okay. The pawn is not great, but it's yours. You're a pawn up. And if they play some other move, like queen b6 or queen a5, I don't know exactly, but probably knight d5 is extremely strong, considering that black hasn't castled yet. Okay, seals already in it. Bishop takes f7, 1-0, you're still full of joy, of course. You always love those kind of wins. Sure, take care and see you maybe. I'm trying to think a bit about what's going on after queen b6. Then I don't have knight d5 because this is a problem. If queen a5, then probably I have knight d5. Even though even there is a question, it's a question. But queen b6, I'm pretty sure you can go e5, bishop b7, queen d. Okay, maybe not queen d4. I mean, I don't even have to do that. Maybe I can. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to work things out a bit. Work things out a bit there. My opponent does take. I guess it's expected. Okay, so now if I'm in time with rook d3, knight d4, I'm a pawn up. So that's why my opponent decides to take. And yeah, let's see. We have another endgame to play. Huh. Of course, I'm happier with this game, with this endgame, than with the other ones, considering I'm a pawn up, even though it's not the greatest pawn. I can go rook d4, but I'm not sure where I need the rook, because maybe I need the knight on d4. If that's the case, then rook d2 would be preferable. Rook d2, some rook c8 he would play, I suppose. And then I'd go knight d4 probably, bishop e8. And then maybe I'm supposed to play with e5, I don't know. I mean, rook d4 is also a move. Rook c8. But okay, let's play a normal move, I suppose. So wait, rook d2, rook c8, king b2. Yeah, okay, let's play. How do I pronounce my last name? I pronounce it as Levich. So basically the C in the end is pronounced as CH. Okay, let's go here. King b2 first, and then if I'm expecting bishop here. Rook c7 is also possible, but yeah, okay. So now the logical idea, I suppose, is to go knight d4, rook e3, and then try to expand here with f4 and d5. The rook on e3. At least now, for example, had he played bishop e8 first, knight d4, he would be able to come to c4. I don't know if it makes much of a difference, but I still think that even when he doubles, I'm the one with the upper hand in this position. So bishop d7 is played. I don't know if I'm supposed to play e5 or not, but it's highly unlikely he wants to play it. So maybe I should just start with this. Even though if I start with this, there are sometimes g5 ideas in these silly structures. So maybe I should start with e5. g5 is still possible there, though. Yeah, for g5, g3 maybe. It's just like a simple solution. I'll try that and then rook e3. I'm also trying to play quickly this game. That's what I said I'll try it. Let's go here. This rook is a multifunctional piece, both defending and possibly attacking here and supporting the expansion of the pawns. Maybe after today's stream, I will understand that I'm a better endgame player than a tactician. Who knows? So I didn't win the games due to my good play, but due to my opponent's overpressing. Yeah, if he ever takes, um, if he ever takes on f4, then I'll also have the rook h3 idea. Maybe not immediately because of e5, but at least he'll have to think about it. So it doesn't look that bad. Practical endgames by Leon, course one. Should I include some of these games? I mean, what am I supposed to tell you about endgames? You're a pawn up, you play on. How hard can it be? Okay, so now my worst placed piece is this rook on d2. It doesn't do much, because the d file is not needed anymore. So my next move is probably putting it on f2, because then I can have several ideas. For example, with fg, knight f3, knight e5, or maybe with e5 followed by f5. And or I can do this first to either provoke g4 or have more pressure. We'll see. h4 is also an idea, but I don't really want to play h4 because then after takes on rook g8, we don't have this move in the future. My opponent goes to c5 with the rook. I don't know if he's trying to play e5, but I think it's highly unlikely. I mean, I think I should just follow my plan. In e5 I can also play, but let's first put the rook here. I don't think this is an idea. Like even takes and rook f3 could be quite dangerous. My favorite rook endgames are with rook up. Yeah, I mean, of course, that's what I always say. Isn't that word for everyone? Step 1, wait until your clock goes to 11 seconds. Step 2, win. It worked. Don't you criticize my don't you criticize my end gameplay. As long as it works. When I start losing, then you can criticize. Joking, of course. This game, I'm keeping a pressure on the clock and on the board. So it's good. There is one thing I need to do, and that's to take a toilet break, and I'll be back in 1 or 2 minutes. Alright, how much time did I lose? Probably too much. Rook g8. Yeah, that makes sense. So I suppose the t5 I should play now to have f5 in the air all the time. Like, if I never take, then he'll have rook g7, rook h7. He has quite a comfortable position. So let's go here. Then f5 will be an idea in the future, definitely. f5, knight f5, for example, bishop f5, rook f5, and then I'll have rook f6 ideas. Though it would weaken this pawn, so I probably need to first support this idea with some rook f3s or something. Play some rook g7, then maybe I can take and take with the rook. And after bishop f5, capture this, go e6. Should be good. I mean, the advantage I have in this endgame is small. It's not big, but I'm the one who's playing for a win. If my knight would be on e4, then it would be a bit different. But the knight can't move here, only from here. It would be able to go to those squares, and if I ever try to reroute it, then he would anyway be able to activate the bishops. So yeah. Okay, ideally I would like to have h3, g4, and then f5. and then I would be able to recapture with the pawn. But probably after h3, he would take. I mean, he can always take. He can always take, and then yeah, it's easier to parry the f5 threat. But if he takes, then as I said, the rook h3 idea becomes a nuisance for black. At least that's how it seems to me. h5. Yeah, that's another way of fighting that thing I mentioned. How to keep the pressure on. I don't want to play h4 because of takes and rook g4. f5 immediately. ef5. e6 is pointless. ef5. I mean, rook ef3, then he would go g4 probably. I'm not sure if it's bad for me. Hmm. I can go knight f3, but I don't know if it makes much sense. Knight f3, he would take. I'm pretty sure he would take, that is, because if he played g4, then I can go knight g5, and then I want knight g4, and when he stops it, bishop c6, then I have knight h7, knight h6, I think. So he would probably have to take bishop c6, but at least I can go back then. Then rook h3 could be an idea, but I also don't really want him to activate the bishop. It's double-edged. It is double-edged to go knight f3. Maybe considering the match situation, I should play something more solid. But it's not about winning the match, it's only training games. To me, at least, it's not. So let's go. He can maybe harass my king now. King c1, take, rook g4. If we go knight d4, give a check here. King d2, rook b1 or something. That could be a nuisance, actually. Should have thought about this more. Yeah, I should have thought about this way more. gf4, gf4. It's not the end of the world still, or anything too special. Yeah, I should not have allowed this or anything close to this. That's the problem when I'm playing too quickly. You make mistakes. But okay, king c1, rook g4. King a3 looks too stupid, though it's maybe good. But anyway, this game I decided to try to play quickly, so let's try to play quickly. And after this, the problem is, okay, maybe I can still go knight d2. Turn knight d4. Maybe it's still like rook g4, knight d4, rook g1 check, king here. He goes here. It's not like the end of the world. I can go c4 and king c3, for example. But he can go maybe rook a5 and try to take my a2 pawn. And then I would have to go f5 probably. So maybe as an alternative, I could go Could go knight d2, but it's definitely not what I really wanted. And then after rook g1 to cover with rook f1, I can go rook g2, and then I would have rook h3. So it's surely not the end of the world. Hello to d4 forever. Do I play against Hans? No, that's just chat trolling me. I'm just playing against a grandmaster who I haven't mentioned his name because I don't have the permission to do that, but we're playing training games sometimes. Okay, so knight d4, rook g1, king d2. Rook b1 I'm not scared of. Can go c4. So rook a5 probably. Rook a5 and then what? Rook h3, probably rook a2, rook h5, and he can start pushing the a-pawn. Don't like it. Can go knight d4, check. King d2, rook a5, f5. ef, probably knight f5, bishop f5, rook f5, but then the rook endgame is worse for me. I screwed up so badly by playing that. Screwed up so badly by playing that knight f3 move. Just play a normal move. Come on. King c1, king d2. Okay, maybe not that. Now I have to get myself out of the things I brought myself in. So knight d2, check, rook f1, rook g2. And rook h3 is not the only move, but doesn't look that bad. I don't want to give up the a-pawn. So let's do that. Shellingford is very certain, probably he's playing on the other end. I first thought you would play against random anonymous players, but they were playing so good. No. This is a grandmaster who is a stronger player than me. Um, so yeah, these matches are quite good usually. This is the fourth game, the last game. So I guess we're pretty tired. There have been some mistakes by both of us throughout the match, but in general, I'm trying to make these streams relatively instructive. I don't know if I'm succeeding, but what's the score? I'm leading 2-1. Shellingford is an IM, and I'm not playing against Shellingford. You want my troll emote? This one? There it is. So yeah, rook f1, rook g2. I mean, his rooks are also uncoordinated. You can imagine things happening, like rook h5, rook h8, and then the knight coming to somewhere. But giving up the second rank is not something I'm happy to do. That I can tell you. At least this game, I'm the one who has the advantage on the clock. You guys wanted that. You didn't want to watch me getting to 1 second all the time. Okay, my opponent takes and goes rook a4. This one I did consider briefly, but I didn't think that was that was too big of a problem, because when he goes here, I thought that I can go. I thought I can go here and then rook f2. Still, my knight is misplaced, and I will need several more moves to bring it back to the game. Okay, rook f2. Bishop d5, I have a3, so it's never something to worry about. And now there are no more checks. What would my opponent's idea be? Maybe h4 to stop knight g3. Then I go knight d2. And then he doesn't have entry squares for the rook. He goes rook e4 first, then he runs into this stuff. That would be good. Maybe he can play f6 or some move like that. Yeah, h4 is the most logical one. And now, I mean, it's not the only move. I can go here and try to go that way. Okay, maybe now it's time to think. But knight d2 creates an idea of c4. And then the rook could be extremely badly placed there. I mean, knight e3 does the same thing, but then there is rook e4. Knight g4, rook e1 or something. Knight f6. I mean, I can't checkmate him only with the knight, especially when the bishop is there. Let's go here. I want to cut off the entry squares and hope that this rook will stay extremely bad after c4. That's my plan. I mean, I'm expecting him to play some move like, okay, he does this one. Now he's stopping my c4 idea, but probably a3 is best. And now he will be able to go here, but then I can go c4. Okay, so this f6 move I mentioned happens. And now, okay, one alternative is to take. Can go c4 maybe. With the idea of takes and then to play either knight f3. Yeah, actually, wait, this looks quite good. I can get that h4 pawn. So c4 takes, and then I don't know if ef, but let's say not. Knight f3. But then fe, fe, and then bishop d5, and this is defended by the rook. Okay, so I should probably take. Okay, c4 first. Bishop c4. There's also knight e4, which is interesting to bring the knight closer. But let's say take, knight f3. Now if h3, I go knight g5, right? And he can't really defend the h3 pawn. Okay, let's play c4, and then I'll think a bit. You want to bring the knight to f6? d6 also good. Okay. Now let's see what to do. Do we take or do we play knight f3? Or do we go knight e4? There's several decent moves here. ef, king f, knight f3. Maybe he can go bishop d5, knight h4, e5, but then I take with a check. I'm never losing that. Knight f3 first, fe5 could be a problem. Knight e5. Maybe king f6 he can play. Huh. I mean, ef and knight e4 would be nice, but he goes king f5. And knight c5, he's just intending to go rook a5, and I don't have even knight b7. So yeah. EF and knight e4 definitely no. EF and knight f3 probably. If h3, knight g5. King f5, knight h3. He does have compensation, not gonna lie, but... Okay, let's see knight e4 first. I don't like it, honestly, because you can play, for example, f5. No, not f5. Maybe even f5. I need to get rid of the h-pawn, but I also need to take care of the counterplay. Knight e4, f5. Maybe knight c3, the simple move. Knight e4, f5, knight c3. Rook a6, rook g2. Knight on c3 is dumb, but it doesn't allow bishop d5. Rook c and rook g7 will come either that or... Endgames are so hard. I can play knight f3 first. No, knight f3 first, f3. Okay, I will try for this one. After a long think. If fe, fe, then I will be able to bring knight to d6 next move, and then rook f7, and it's highly unlikely that I could ever have problems. So only f5 is what worried me. Okay, then I can also put the knight maybe on f6, but then he can go bishop b5. And then I can't go rook d2, rook d7. But after bishop b5, we can go rook g2, rook f4, rook g7, king d8, knight b7, but that looks like a bad version. So f5, probably knight c3. If I go to c5, then he can go, as I said, rook a5. So knight c3. Knight c3, rook a6. This is extremely surprising that he took. But okay. Hello, White Dancing Rockstar. I can't say that. I don't have the permission from my opponent to reveal their name. I can just tell you that they're stronger than me. Yeah, now this I thought is quite good. Yeah, f5 he was supposed to play. I don't know why this. f5 I was a bit worried. Okay, so good player, not somebody random. No, not somebody random. Somebody stronger than me. No matter that I'm winning this match, my opponent's a stronger player than me. Trust me on that. Yeah, now with rook f7, it's highly unlikely that I can ever lose. There is knight b7, and I'm also the one pressing still. Because there are, you can imagine c4 ideas happening, and then if he takes to the bishop, okay, I don't know if rook f4 or just knight b7, but yeah. This pawn should not be a problem anymore. The h4 pawn. Yeah, rook g4. This one I should play. And now, okay, if I take, it's fine. Like, still, his king is cut off. c4 is interesting, like trying to play for more. c4, bishop c6 probably. But yeah, then I'll just give him time for this. So probably I should just take, rook g2, rook a7, go rook h7, and still I'm the one pressing, but it's a draw, objectively. Okay, I'm not gonna complain about that. Can play a5 too. And by the way, then I would probably go king b3 and try to go c4. Okay, goes for this one, then I'll consume the pawn and go here. His king is cut off, so this pawn is not too dangerous. I will try to win, why not? I'm a pawn up. It's not a great pawn, but it's a pawn. I don't think I can win, by the way. I think it's a draw. With correct play, but why not to press on? I can push this pawn down the board now. Okay, he can also try to take this one. Then it will be these two versus one. So subjectively drawn. Maybe easier the way he's playing. Okay, I will take and I will cut off the king, I think. Otherwise he'll cut off my king. And his e-pawn is also relatively dangerous. Push c4, there's rook e3, I don't want that. And let's still try something. King b3. Yeah, rook can't gain time. Yeah, I was probably supposed to cut the king off, but then he would also get quite a lot of counterplay with the e-pawn. I'm not winning this one, by the way, but it doesn't matter. It would be a draw even. It would be a draw even if my opponent didn't have this pawn, but then it would be at least harder to defend. Now it's easy to defend, relatively easy, because this pawn even protects my checks. I don't even know what to try for. Try for check, then maybe his king can be cut off. Cut off in a while. Okay, 6 or something. Goes here, then I can go rook c4 maybe. Yeah, so he goes there. c4 rook b1. Yeah, I don't know. Rook h6 it's an option, surely. Let's try that, and then maybe c4, king c5, and so on. Just to ask him what is he going to play next, because the only winning chance I have is if he takes this one, and then his king somehow stays cut off, and my king stays in front of the c pawn. That would be the only winning possibility. Still, even without this pawn, it's a draw. So yeah. Let's see how he's going to wait. Should I go to c4 or to c5? c5 allows rook b5. And then I can go king c6 maybe. Are the account having same name? This means anonymous player in creation. This anonymity glitch. So it's not the same name. I think that my opponent is playing it in a completely wrong way, honestly. And it feels like I have winning chances. I don't know why, or if I actually have them. Okay, c4 obviously. Okay, wait, c4? It's also a move, but after king a6 I would need to go king c6. Okay, I think I have to cut off the king, so take here. And he needs to give a check. I mean, he needs. He doesn't have to give a check, but if he doesn't, it's probably worse for him. Oh no, he goes this way? Shouldn't this be... Okay, it's not winning, but... Hmm. Yeah, it's not winning. I was trying to calculate some... We're playing without accounts so that nobody will find these games exactly. Okay, thank you, Eric, and see you. Thanks for dropping by to watch the stream. I'm still not convinced in my opponent's defense, by the way. But yeah, now it's a draw. Now it's a draw. Was there something else to try? I don't know. Yeah, now we're entering a theoretically drawn endgame. I think. Could be wrong, but I think. Time to feed the slot machine in these rook endgames with no time to... I'm trying to gain some time. We have entered into objectively drawn territory, that's the problem. When I go here, he has enough squares to defend. What's the difference between c4 and c3? c3 didn't allow check and king b4, and c4 would allow the b4 square to be taken by the king. Yeah, you can't win it if it's theoretically drawn, right? Too bad. But I don't think it was winning at any point. Still, those games will be interesting to analyze. I will analyze them quickly before ending the stream. Give a check, it just goes to b8. This is theoretically drawn, but everything is theoretically drawn, so let's go here. What happened to the good old times when Carlsen didn't know how to draw this? Now everyone knows how to draw it. And the good old king a6 move. Yeah, if I go king d6, they just go king b8. I think. I think now it's an immediate draw, but what to do after this move? Still, this is how grinding works. This is how grinding works. You have to play 100 moves and hope that your opponent makes a mistake. They usually don't, but many times have you seen Carlsen win positions? Positions like that, which are completely drawn. But we'll have to congratulate our opponent for defending it well and agreed to a draw, no matter that we don't want to do it. Okay. So let's analyze the games really quickly, starting from the last one. Yeah. Mm, as far as I remember, this is supposed to be some small advantage. I have never spent time analyzing the sand game though. Still, the most play themselves, I think, up to a certain point, like here. And now I started misplaying with knight f3. Yeah, maybe just rook f3 or I don't know. Here I immediately knew that I allowed too much counterplay. Knight d2 is even bad. Knight d4, but knight d4 I didn't want. What was wrong with this? Rook g1, k5. I wasn't convinced with this because then I said that after a5 it could be. How would you not be afraid of this? How would you not be afraid of this pawn? It's not human to do this. I went knight d2. And okay. Rook a4, rook f3. It's probably a correct game. c4 was quite important to find. Yeah, knight f3. This line, which I spent quite a lot of time analyzing with takes knight f3, I didn't want h3, knight g5, king f5, and this. Because now I just couldn't find a great move, and this is coming. But it's probably still drawn. But okay, here now f5. Knight c5. I plan to come here, because I thought that after this... Oh, I just forgot about king c3. Yeah. Okay. My opponent saw all of this. I was planning to do this and go rook g2, which is still fine. But yeah, that's why he took on e5. And the rook endgame, I think it was a draw throughout. Maybe somewhere in the end they had something, but highly unlikely. I think he defended it quite well. I never had anything really. He knew how to play with. He knew how to play and how to defend it. Yeah, that was a decent game. I think that was a decent game. So yeah, the guy has studied endgames. The guy has studied endgames. Yeah, 0-0 all the way, probably for kind of like that. Just 1 second so that they can get other games to analyze. Okay. Yeah, this one I'm not happy with. I was supposed to not play this knight f4 stuff. This queen e8, this was still theory. But I'm yeah, this is completely fine for black. Yeah, but yeah, f5. Like, why am I going knight f4? Just immediately, I'm the one who is slightly better. No, this is completely misevaluating the position after ef. And now bishop e5 is better than knight c5 because knight c5 there is this knight b5. Even though the engine says it's fine, but not c6. Here I was worried, like b3. Oh, obviously rook a6. Yeah. Obviously. Thank you very much, Stockfish, for your idea. Yeah, and here I was just worse somehow. I didn't know what to do except this stuff, but I was just worse here anyway. And queen e6. The engine likes my position. Yeah, the engine likes my position here at some point. The whole strategical concept was wrong because the knight on f3 is quite strong of a blockading piece. Should play f5 and have a great position. Yeah. Should play f5 and have a great position. Okay. This game was okay. I'm curious where the theory ends here because I didn't know theory. So rook e1 is actually a rare move. That I didn't know. I remember that it's all playable. Bishop b6. What's with rook e6? Just for you guys. Yeah, it's not so bad. Like, I saw this, but you guys in the end decided for me to not suck. Then I went for this stuff, b3. I didn't have a good position here, probably. 94. This move I didn't see at all, this bishop c5, even though the engine says it somehow works for me with this queen d3 stuff. How queen h4? This move I haven't seen at all. So I was actually winning in this game. This is what I considered, but I didn't know what after this. Again, bishop c1. Like, if you don't see this idea, nothing works. Bishop c1, wow. Yeah, if you don't see bishop f1, it all doesn't work. Bishop c1, it all doesn't work. And the way I played was, like, still worse for me. But yeah, I managed to survive. I don't know if there were some chances. Rook a4 and g4, that was easier, yeah. Rook g5, my rook was clumsy. But still, I think I had enough counterplay to draw the game. I don't know if I played it the most precise way, but come on, I won this game, so can hardly blame me. Yeah, he started misplaying a bit here, and then after a7 and h7, it's apparently still a draw. And not anymore. Only king d6 draws. Okay, this should be some example in the book. But yeah, and after king d3 it was lost, because I had this rook d4 stuff. I mean, the game quality itself isn't that bad, even though I missed so many things. c5. What was this about? Queen c7? Oh, queen c7 is no good. I was supposed to play bishop d6 or c4. Okay, I mean, this needs to be analyzed with a much better engine, of course. But yeah, here I thought that it's not so bad. Like knight d2. Bishop d3 was the other move. Yeah, queen c6. I was supposed to play queen c6, which was intuitively wrong, but yeah, I couldn't understand why it's wrong. But this was maybe a small pressure. I mean, I said not to play bishop b6. What? So the engine just says this is fine with queen h4. I mean, it was hard to understand. Bishop f5 was more normal. Take rook d8. Probably the endgame was equal until he overpressed with this. Until he overpressed with this bishop d5 and c4. e5. And no matter the little time I had on the clock, still it was like relatively easy to play. And here, somehow I screwed it up. Rook c3, rook c6, and now rook a6. Obviously, the rook a6 is much easier than this. Just you go rook b. Yeah, this was I don't know. I can't even explain what I did and why. And somehow after h6, it's not even winning anymore. I'm just supposed to go king up, and it's because of that idea which I was struggling with in the game too. Because like if I go for something, like if he goes rook a8, then he's threatening. If I go king b5, then he has king f5 and rook c5, not king f6 because of rook a6 and rook like. Okay, I can show this line because it's maybe a bit more complicated. If I go here, king f5, check. If he takes, then I have this. Sorry about that. But now he has this, and that's why I guess it was important to leave the pawn on h7. And it's a draw. And in the game, he misevaluated this stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you say, guys, about the play? It wasn't that great. It wasn't that great. But I hope at least it was a bit instructive for you. So, so yeah. let's make a raid. You could stay here for the raid if you'd like, and I will see you guys on some other stream. I don't know when that will be. Okay. I hope you had fun. Bye bye.